Really good afternoon, beautiful people of Lagos. It's another edition of the Share Thought Show here on Lagoon Radio. I wish I could listen more to the song, but my producer had to cut me short. Yeah, that's that on that. Kosoba Bire, that's coming from Chidima Kosoba Bire. I've grown to like this particular song. Well, this is the Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio station, powered by the Diocese of Lagos Anglican Communion. And it's about time for the Share Your Thoughts show, which promises to be interesting today. But in the meantime, like on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram and Twitter is at Lagoonradio.Ng. You can also download the Lagoon Radio app on Google Play Store and App Store, irrespective of the device that you use. My name is DJ Shab, and I'm your host on the show. But of course, because of our topic for today, it carries a little bit of weight. I'm not going to be doing the talking alone, and I'll be needing your opinion on this topic. Well, before me, there's a video I saw some time ago, and it actually warranted me to come up with this question. Okay, so I was watching this video on TikTok, and then I come across this video of a lady. She actually took her grandma to court because she borrowed money from her, and she refused to return it. So that's that, before I delved into the full story. So my question for today is, so what would you do if your parent or guardian does not refund a loan taken from you? To what extent would you go? Would you report the person to God? What will you do? How far can you go? Of course, I have him in the studio, my producer. If she would be saying something, you hear from her. That's immediately okay. And at my forward front, I have Tayo. He's the only guy here, and we'll be doing the talking together. I want to hear his side of the story. Have you ever? Good afternoon, Mr. Tayo.
You know, how you doing?
I'm very fine. Actually wearing one of my best colors, color green.
Yeah.
You won't tell me thank you.
Got it today. Thank you. The compliment.
All right, so I watched this video. What happened is, the grandma borrowed a sum of 95,000 naira from a granddaughter. And if you remember while growing up, her parents would tell you, borrow me money, I'll give you back. And they never return the money. Have you ever gone back to ask your mom for your money she borrowed you, and what was her response?
Well, I've never done that before.
Eh?
I've never done that before.
Wait, your mom or your dad
Yes.
has never borrowed money from you?
I've never done that before. No, not. The way I look at it, I don't borrow them money. I give them.
While growing up.
Yes.
Wait, Mr. Tayo. You're not getting it.
I get
You
your
know what,
point.
growing up, we don't used to have sense then. In fact, we did not have plenty sense. We don't understand a lot of things. And your mom tells you,
Okay,
Bring
well,
it, let me
growing
keep
up,
this money for
as a
you.
little kid.
yes, while growing up.
Of course, everybody does that. Everybody does that. Mommy,
Do you go back to ask her for the money?
Mommy, you won't take my love and call.
And what will she tell you?
I'm your mother, right?
Epic.
I'm going to be eating Saturday.
Are you not very close, right?
That's the response. They will tell you, so can you joy any? You'll be eating and you'll be sleeping here. So you want to ask me for money? How much is it the money?
That's
So
a
everybody
default.
does that.
That's a default answer from
Yeah,
every African
from
parent.
every parent, African parent. That's the default answer.
So now, growing up, as I was saying about this video, because I'll be cutting it, so you understand where my question is going to. So she took her grandma to court. Her grandma borrowed a sum of 95,000 naira from her. Her grandma has been the one taking care of her since she was 2 years old. Her mom left her. And the grandma refused to return the money. So the girl had to take the grandma to court. Is she right or right? Is she wrong or wrong?
Now the question is, The fact is, how old is the girl at this time?
She's old. She's working.
She's mature already.
She's working.
She's
yes.
working.
Yes.
Eh?
And she earns 30,000 naira every month. So she has been saving up.
Now she has been saving up for her own personal things.
Yes.
Right? And she's been under the watch of her grandma.
Yes.
Including clothing, including food and shelter.
Yes.
And the grandma is saying, please borrow me this money. I want to use it.
For our business.
For our
where
business.
the money is
now,
coming
if the
from.
business boom, the lady will get from it now, right?
She has even been getting from it even before it booms.
She took the grandma to the court.
Is she right or right?
To me, as an African guy, I will say it is very wrong.
Would you blame her? No, you can't.
Yeah, because see the other fact is this: the grandma told her that I will pay the money back, right? So, and she actually stood on that. Like, grandma, where is the money? You said you will pay.
Because she has been carrying that mentality of you borrow this money, and of course you should return it.
And one other thing, I will say that she was probably influenced from outside. Maybe she took the matter to some of her friends. What do you say about this? I say, ask for your money now. She is your grandma. Now, maybe she has been asking just a relationship from grandma and granddaughter. Grandma, where is the money? And maybe grandma is posting that, okay, I'll give it tomorrow. I'll give it tomorrow. Maybe, and she now heard about this family court and she took her. But to me, I would say she's very wrong. Looking at the fact that she has been under the grandma watch since 2 years old. 2 years old. So if when your mommy left you and the grandma just decided to leave you alone, so what would that happen? So I would say that she's very wrong from taking her to court. She can ask for the money, but taking her to court is to extent, and it's very, very wrong to me.
She's very, very wrong. Okay, so now, to what extent, if you're just tuning in to Lagoon Radio, this is the Share Your Thoughts show, to what extent would you go if your parent or guardian borrow money from you and refuses to return it? We're hearing from Mr. Tayo, because I lay down a story here, a story of a granddaughter that took a grandma to court because she refused to return the money she borrowed from her. Now, what's your own take on this? To what length, to what extent, what would you do if your parent borrowed money from you and they have refused to return it? To what extent would you go? I'd like to hear from our producer, but before then, I'd like us to go on a music break. And when we get back, you'll be hearing from our proper. Yes.
This is Lagoon Radio.
I got a C, I got a H, I got a I, O, M, A. Chiama, Robino, Chiama. Akane Buruma, Chiama mo. Amantobi, Chiama. Imene Chendu, Chiama. future. Chioma will give you that house. Chioma will give you that.
Amen. Chioma will give you good granddaughter and good grand son. All right, that's Chioma Jesus. Chioma Mary Mix. Yes. But some people will call him Mirix. But this is the remix of Chioma Jesus. And the time is 22 minutes going past 3 p.m. here from our studio. And you're still listening to Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio station, powered by the Diocese of Lagos Anglican Communion. And it's still the Share Your Thoughts show where we're treating how long and to what extent can you go if your parent or your mom, your dad borrowed any money from you and they refuse to return it. We've heard from Tayo, and I lay an emphasis on a video whereby a grandmother borrowed money from a granddaughter and she refused to return it, and she took her to court. So what's your own take on this? To what extent has your mom ever borrowed money from you? What was her response? Let's hear you. You can call in on 08189 Lagoon 08189 524 666. 08189 524 666. Like I said earlier, I have my producer in the studio, and I would like to hear from her. And thank God she's a mother. And they say karma. Karma, they say, is very nice, yo. I don't want to say the other way around. So she's going to tell me her experience. She's going to tell us her experience while she was a child growing up. And now that she's the mother, what is she experiencing?
Mommy, come and give me my money.
Have you ever borrowed money from your mom?
As my mom,
Has your mom ever borrowed money from you?
Yeah, I actually could remember. Okay, sorry. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Pardon my manners. Pardon me. Ara okoni me, I'm a bush
Your
person.
pardon?
Okay, I actually tried flashing back. I tried to have a flashback of there was this particular day a visitor came to our house, and he gave me some cash. And back then, I used to have a piggy bank. So before I could get to the piggy bank, my mom just said, yeah, me lower here now. Like, just borrow me this money. I want to quickly use it to cook soup.
You're always quickly using it.
Cook soup.
And me, yes. And me as an obedient child now. The good daughter. I just gave her bam. Oh yeah. Don't worry now, I will still return it. Okay. I gave her. So there was a particular period I wanted to buy something. You know, children will see sweet, will want to buy, and I didn't have money. And I remember that, one brother came to our house and gave me money. That's what I went to me. I went, Mommy, what the hell want me there? Like, where was the money I loaned you? Well, my mom was like, go and check my pot of soup now. You sit there. I'm like, your pot of soup. She said it in Yoruba. Oh, Lord, koko be me. Oh, marimbe. I'm like, koko be.
You didn't understand.
What koko be? Koko
So
be.
what did you do later then? You go there.
Later, she not told me that I'm like, koko be. There's no money there. That's all the food I be eating in my house. Where do you think the money is coming from?
This husband is not
mom,
giving her money.
she just that one just shows me up. I cried there. God, I cried.
And next time, you won't even want to give her the money.
For where? So next time she stopped giving me a quick attack, you know. She allowed me to go and put the money inside the piggy bank. She's not like, BCO, yeah, come on, let's check your piggy bank. How much have you saved so far? So that was that about that. So by the time I now started growing up and all that, please don't come and miss me to Yahilowo. But the thing is, my mom was she was just a mother with a difference. Let me put it that way. Because I could remember that she actually gave me all the money back, really. And in her own way. Because throughout my tertiary institution days, our ATM was with me. So, and yeah, our ATM was with me. Our basic salary ATM. So as soon as the salary lands, you just call me, hello, buy me check salary, hello, you know. And there are times I would really need money in school. I just enter there and go withdraw and call her, Mommy, Muti withdraw so amount. And she'll be like, she be to basic battle, you know. So, and that was it. And basically, I know I can't even finish repaying her. That's actually the way it is. So, moving to my own, not that I'm a mother, you know, God gave me the kind of children that they are my size.
They're a size in nature.
Especially, they are my size in nature, especially the younger one. Oh my God. You see that one? I don't know, maybe I vomited him new. I know he basically took after me. Like, I keep asking myself that, hey God, was this how I was when I was younger? Like he keeps, my children keep piggy banks too. Like anyone that gives them money, oh yeah, straight to your big piggy bank. So there's a particular day in the month, I just bring out the piggy bank. We do the accounts together, how much they have and all that. So that's actually, it used to encourage them. Even to the smallest naira, they put in the piggy bank. To the smallest naira. There was a day I was checking their piggy bank and I saw 10 naira. Like amount, in between the denominations. So there are times I'll send them on an errand, they'll bring change. Mommy change me, I'll be like, oh yeah, mamulo. They know that it's straight to the piggy bank because so that's how there was a day where I took my son out. The younger one, I took him out. The elder one is in the boarding house. So I took the younger one out and someone gave him money, gave him 2,000 naira, 500 naira notes.
That's plenty.
I never knew he counted this money. The person gave him in my presence and he just gave me, Mommy, take. I'll put it in my piggy bank when I get home. So from there, I now took him to a restaurant. Like, okay, let me just give you a treat and all that. So I took 500 naira out of his money, added to the money with me to buy something for him. I didn't tell him. So that's how we got home, and I said, oh yeah, Fikayo, take, go and put it in your piggy bank. He just can't take the money. He said, Mommy, this money is not complete. I said, how much is it? He said it was 4, and this is 3. I said, did you count it? He said, yes.
Someone told you it's 4.
I said, the food you ate, I used part of the money and add to the money of
She
the
will
food
ask
I
you who
bought.
sent you.
He didn't even ask me, and I said, yeah, okay. And he went to keep it in his piggy bank. You see, since that day, I used to mind myself because I don't want anybody to come and disgrace me. And he's a kind of child that he's common like that. Let me put it that way. Like he doesn't like maybe you're good with it or you know. He just says it. It might be outside now. You say, Mommy, where's the money you borrowed from my piggy bank? So that's actually the way it is. So coming back to the question and also the video. I actually watched the video some times ago.
Okay, so wait, while you were watching the video, what was running through your mind?
Yeah, it's a bit dicey and it's in 2 different phases. Number 1, the grandmother never said, give me. The grandmother said, borrow me. I'm a kind of person, I hold you to your word, personally. If you tell me to borrow you something, I do. And I expect you to refund it as at the said time. So that's actually one side of the story. So then the other side, as a child too, I would think of something. This woman has been taking care of me since I was 2 years old. She's been hustling. She's been giving me food. She's been buying me things. Even when you started working, she was still doing the same thing. She was still feeding you and she was still clothing you. And you never for once said, Grandma, take, use it to buy food in the house. Should they teach you that one too? It's common sense. So as a mother to me, I would, if I say borrow me, the day I tell you I will return it, I will hold the money like this. Allow you to see the money. And I'll tell you that since I've been taking care of you, it is money I've been using. And this money I borrowed, I used it for my business so that the business can boom a bit and I can have more money. And you started working. What have you given me ever since you started working? What was your own way of saying thank you? Is it until I enter grave and die? That's when you give me a befitting burial. Start taking care of me now if I were to be the grandma. And I will tell you, I'm not going to give you this money. I'm going to use it for the house. And to me, the upbringing of a child to actually matters, and it actually goes a long way.
Yeah,
so
you said
I think
something that day that the grandma didn't teach her to give.
to give, yes, the grandma didn't. Okay, personally, I have people living with me, and Rome wasn't built in a day. When they started living with me, they never had any. Maybe we need to buy this in the house. I'm like and then she said, now. So gradually they started, doing some things and all that. So I'm like, it's not what you're buying that will feed me or that will make me satisfied. Yeah. Or let me use belefu now. But at the same time,
Just
do it so that exactly so that I have a sense of responsibility.
Yes.
So basically, I would blame the grandma in a way she trained the child, fine. And when the child started working, you were still buying her wig, buying her dresses. No, you shouldn't do that. As soon as the child starts working.
Both sides are to be blamed, right?
Exactly. Both sides are to be blamed. To me, both sides are to be blamed. The grandma shares her own blame, and the lady also shares her own blame. So it is what it is. Thank you.
So you feel to that extent it's so much. Like she did a lot by taking her grandma to court.
Yeah, she actually went too much.
Extreme.
She actually went to the extreme because
you know,
she should be considerate as well.
And you know the guy in court, you know the guy now, Ebuka, and he's a very, very, a very jovial person. He will be laughing. So you took your grandma to court, and you were not. You know, Ebuka is a very, very funny guy. So
yes.
The day I watched, I was like, what's wrong with this lady? Somebody took care of you from 2 years old.
Like you said, she was not thought to give, and I don't think she has seen anybody to tell her.
Obviously.
To tell her her right from her wrong, because some people, they need to be told. If you don't know, let me just tell you, so you would know. If maybe you know, you're not just taking it to heart. I'm going to tell you again. This thing, you go about it. Like you said, peer pressure. Maybe she has been intimidated outside, or probably she has been talked some jargons
Like
into.
given the wrong advice.
She has been they've given her so much wrong messages in her head, and that's why she has come up with the idea of taking her grandma to court. So I'm asking you as an audience, before I go further, as an audience, and you're listening to me right now, what's your take on this, and to what extent will you go, or will you get to, if you borrow money from your child, or your child borrows money from you, and you refuse to return? Let's go another music break, and when we get back, it will be a continuation. And this one is Samsung. If they work, say if they work in this cold weather. We'll be right back. Do not go nowhere.
The word of God in my mouth, the spirit of the Lord in my heart. When I speak in tongues, even my tithes are an offering. The name of Jesus in my mouth. He dey work, he dey work. You say he dey work, he dey work, he dey work, he dey work. People living life in a fool's paradise, living life like a toss of a dice. Brother, if you no work for your side, it don't mean what you do is a lie. Talk about my tithe and my offering. I put my tithe, put an end to the suffering. My life be turning on the own. You say, turning on the own. Don't talk down on the anointing. Small talk can bring you down to nothing. What you don't understand, live it. It makes no sense to still take a stand. This is our life, our culture. We are from the Commonwealth of Zion. We live by a difference of the rules. This is what we do, and this is how we rule. The word of God in my mouth, the spirit of the Lord in my heart. When I speak in tongues, even my tithes are an offering. The name of Jesus in my mouth. He dey work, he dey work. You say he dey work, he dey work, he dey work, he dey work, he dey work. Keep saying, don't stop tapping it. A closed mouth is a closed up destiny. Quiet Christians die quietly. If you must live right, only say the right thing. Kabaye, kabaye.
Bro, you just speak in tongues.
Calm down, this is not my secret. Now the power and the glory of the Trinity. When I speak in tongues, dominate circumstances. Speak in tongues, move on the mountain. When I speak in tongues, I change situations. Speak in tongues to the devil in confusion. This is our life, our culture. We are from the Commonwealth of Zion. We live by a difference of the rules. This is what we do, and this is how we rule. The word of God in my mouth, the spirit of the Lord in my heart. When I speak in tongues, even my tithes are an offering. The name of Jesus in my mouth. He dey work, he dey work. You say he dey work, he dey work, he dey work, he dey work, he dey work. Your life to take a new turn, all you need to do is say these words after me. Say, Lord, I believe in you, and I receive the power to become the Son of God. Say, Lord, I believe in you, and I receive the power to become the Son of God. The word of God in my mouth, the spirit of the Lord in my heart.
He did joke. It choke.
It's
It they work, but that's
the word of God. The
do you know
power of
this is not the first time I'm listening to this song, but I'm taking a closer look
God. Yeah.
at the
Even,
song.
it's even giving us salvation prayer.
Yes, the word of God in my mouth. It they
It
work.
dey work. And the spirit of God in my heart.
It they work. It will choke. All right, you're still on to Lagoon Radio. This is your number one online gospel radio station, powered by the Diocese of Lagos, Anglican Communion. And it's the Share Your Thought show here on Lagoon Radio. Don't forget to like on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria. Follow on Instagram at Lagoon Radio NG, and of course on Twitter is at Lagoon Radio NG. You can also download the Lagoon Radio app on Google Play Store and App Store, irrespective of the device that you use. I remain DJ Sharp, and I'm your host on the show. And today we're looking at to what extent would you go if your parent borrow money from you and they refuse to return it? Would you go as far as taking them to the court or reporting them to God, or taking them to police station? Would you go as far as reporting them to God?
Reporting them to God.
Or
He
to
actually
which
caught
extent will
me
you
like.
to get your money back?
Yeah, to what extent, or what have you done to get your money back in return? Thank you. So you can call in on 08189 Lagoon, 08189 524 666, 08189 524 666. Let's hear your own thought. Of course, a few comments I got in the past. Some are like, this one choco. Just like Simia says, like at least the grandma didn't tell her she was not going to return the money. She should have at least. And just as Judd has said as well, see, children, whatever you tell us, we take it to heart.
Exactly.
Believe it not. You're telling me to borrow you. And of course, I have plans for this money. The money is 95,000 naira. That's a lot of money. And the girl actually in the court went on her knees to beg her grandma that she was saving the money to buy herself a phone. So it can be that painful. I actually feel for the girl. But because that's why, stop lying. Like, it's not good to lie. Because children, they are very, very sensitive. It's what you tell them, they take to heart. If you had not told her, and she and I think the reason why she believed her was she has been believing her ever since she was a child.
Yeah.
So she believes, once she tells me she will return it, of course she should return it. And she has been asking this woman, the woman refused to return. Like, okay, even the cloth you wore to court, the wig that is on your head, the slippers you are wearing, anything you want to cut, I got them for you. The grandma felt pained. I understand, but still, let us try and be straightforward with our words.
And I think before the girl could actually conclude taking her grandmother to court,
she must have.
maybe she must have, like, the grandma she must have been asking, and the grandma was maybe not giving her a good response, or the grandma would tell her stories. Trust mothers now. That's how the grandma will now say story of when the mother got pregnant, when she was not supposed to get pregnant.
She actually said she was not going to return the money.
Her.
She said she was not going to return the money.
it.
That
So
she just
that
told
was-
the girl that she was going to return that. If she didn't tell the girl she was going to return it,
yes.
the girl will not borrow her the money.
The thing
So that's
is,
where the problem came from.
maybe she assumed, really, because take for example, I'm this kind of person that if you tell me you needed a particular amount of money, if I don't have up to that, even if it's 1% of that money, I'll just give you a look away. So if she had told the girl, okay, I need so amount
For my business.
for my business, how much can you give me? If the girl now says, I'm not going to give you this one, I'm saving for my phone, I'm doing this, doing that, keep quiet, come back again, now use adult sense and do. And the thing is just that, like Sharp said, our children hold us by our word. Whatever we say, they take it to heart.
They trust us so much.
They trust us so much. So with that, with what this woman has done, the lady won't be able to trust the grandmother anymore. Like, there's nothing the grandma will do. Forget it. So, and for the grandma to even there's this mistake we make too, as should I say Africans or Nigerians, really, which is actually so common. We assume a lot. We assume, because the grandma assumed if she had told the girl to give her the money, the girl wouldn't give her. Why not try it first? Why should you just come to conclusion? we assume and just conclude on that assumption, which is not actually safe for us. So I think the lady too has a bit of our own blame and also a bit of our own right, taking the grandma to court. So that's the way it is. And now, family relationship is no longer as it used to be. It's no longer as
People
it
are
used
now
to
No
be.
one
doing their
trusts anyone again.
yeah.
Because I remember growing up, my late dad was a pharmacist. He has a pharmaceutical store. So anytime any of us is feeling sick or anything, and he actually supplies first aid and all that. So he just goes to the store, pick drugs, first aid, just gives to us. So yeah, use. And he never asks us for money. But he used to do something. As at the time we now started getting married, by the time we now come back to say we want to pay them a visit and we want to take, I need a pack of paracetamol. You know what my dad will do? My dad will collect his money.
I know, because you people are no longer kids.
Yeah,
Exactly. You actually
exactly,
collect his money.
Not because he wants to collect it.
And not because he can't
He
give
just
you
wants,
free.
he just wants you to have a sense of
Sense of
responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the way it is. So it's just something like that. So now I should now say, because it's my dad, I'm not. Do I know how much I'll go and buy that drug outside? So instead of me going out to pay money, let me just
And
And
it's,
you
a,
don't
and, it's
know.
a, and it's a way of supporting your own
the
person.
business. Exactly.
And you don't know if he had given you discount for that drug. Okay, pay this amount.
Even if you didn't.
My dear, I never knew the worth until I came to Lagos about 11 years ago, and I started buying drugs.
These things
Go to
yourself.
hospital, they will write prescription. I'll carry money and go. I'll be like, God,
This is
like,
a lot.
it's so like this is a lot. So there are times that even if I get prescriptions, I will be forced to call home and be like, is this drug available? Please, can you help me send through a driver? And imagine the amount of money they would charge from there. From my state down to Lagos is always so cheap, relatively cheap. It could be like maybe 500 naira, 1,000 naira, and all that to just bring in something for you. So at times I'll be like, let me just pay the money home instead of just paying for someone else. So that's actually the way it is. So I'll just sorry, I talk a lot. So I would just say that
You don't talk then, you
So-
shouldn't be here.
So I would just say that basically, as adults, what we cannot keep to with the children, we shouldn't give them our words if we know we can't keep to it. So I think that is that about that.
All right, thank you very much, Simi. It's been an amazing time with you. AY, do you have something else to
Tayo.
say?
Yeah,
before
I
call
would
it?
say the
Tayo.
Tayo. Thank you.
I know
Thank
there's
you
Ayo.
very much. And for a good correction, it's Omo Tayo. Yeah. Thank you very much.
A child is Tayo.
Yeah, the grown up is Omo. Yeah, the lady, like I said earlier, she must have been influenced from her friend, from her peer pressure to ask for the money. And, asking such kind of grandma, that kind of money. No, she says someone, the grandma says, she says something that she's not going to pay the money, that, okay, she just asked from her, okay, just say, okay, give me the money, I will pay to you, I will pay
But
back.
she knew
So,
within her
but
she was
within
not
her
going to
mind,
return
she's
the
not going
money.
to pay the money. But this lady is saving her money for phone. Now, my question is,
95,000 naira.
95,000 naira. Now, this lady, the kind of phone she's saving for, I'm sorry for saying, the kind of phone she's saving for, is this trying to be equal with her mate outside? Maybe, okay, they are using big phones. Okay, I can save and I can buy big phone too.
Some people actually are gadget freaks.
Then,
Electronics free.
Then to me, I don't think that might be the case.
And
She
and
might be saving for a phone that will
Something
be useful
else
for
and
her.
something else, not just the phone.
And also, this lady, she's not teenager. She's an adult.
An adult.
Yes. So at that time, where we already blamed the grandma that she has not been teaching her how to give and all those things. So, and that is a problem on that side, because if she had been teaching her how to give, then she will. Okay, I'm very sure she won't give that woman the whole money. So she was just giving her a little, that okay. Anytime you have the money, just pay back. But it has gotten to a time that she needs the money. That was when she was asking, give me the money, and grandma, now I will give you later. My phone, the clothes you even wear, I bought it for you. So for her to take her to court, I know she must have gone through so many things. Court, But thank God it's not just the normal court. They will know. Just a family court. Because they will just give grandma go and pay the money. But and thank God the judge she's also a mother.
She's also a mother.
So
and I like
they will just give a verdict.
passed.
Grandma, you ask for the money and they will ask you, grandma, do you say you pay back? Say yes, go and pay.
Court will even tell you to add interest.
Yeah.
But thank God the court she went to, the judge.
It's just a family court that settles families matter.
Yes, judging matter. Not family matters. Not family matters alone. They don't settle family matters alone. It's generally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, having said all, the judge came to a conclusion and she asked the girl, "How much do you want to drop for the upkeep of the house?" She stated the amount. And because she's a mother, she knows how it feels. She couldn't just pass a judgment to the grandma. Okay, you must pay us so amount. Because in the normal day, she just bang what do they call it? Grandma. What?
Is that man? That's Amma like. Is Amma?
She just bangs it and you pay the so amount of
Now
money.
my question is, if the judge make a judgment that, okay, grandma go and pay the money, because she must pay the money. That's the judgment. Now, if she had paid the money, how would the relationship be now?
No, she actually, in that same call, she left where she was standing. She went to kneel to her grandma. She begged her that, "Grandma, please,
Well,
I want to use the money to buy food." And the grandma, phone. The grandma said she wasn't hungry, but why would, I've been the one taking care of you. She was paying. I've been the one taking care of you, and that don't worry that as soon as I sell, I will give you your money, and that settles it.
Then also making the girl have a sense of responsibility settles it as well, because the grandma will now end up doing the whole thing. Because I even believe that even apart from feeding the lady, at least the lady's friends would come pay her a visit and they will still eat the same grandma's food.
I'm telling you.
So
That's
it's
just
very
it.
wide. So I think it's actually a fair judgment, really, which I'm actually in full support of. Anyway, so giving the girl a sense of responsibility and the grandma returning the money. So let them start afresh. So if the grandma needs money, don't tell her, if you know you're not going to return it, don't tell her you will return it. Just let her know what you need the money for. And you let her know she must drop the money as far as she's living under your roof.
She's living under the roof, yes.
That's it.
And this goes to everyone out there. If you're going to borrow money from your kids, your children, whether young or old, I mean, let's try to be honest. Let's try to be straightforward. And if you're not going to return it, just tell them what you want to use the money for. Their kids, most especially kids, don't deceive them. They don't need it. Psychologically, mentally, they don't need it. They don't even want it. So let's try as much as possible to be honest with them when it comes to borrowing money. It's not easy. We are all going to be mothers, and some that are mothers already, they can share their experience and they can tell how much. But to what extent? To what extent? This is like is when I was watching the video, I was just laughing like, hey, what kind of child is this? Like, what kind of child is this? But after listening to both left and right, and then you don't have to blame one side the more, and of course let the other go scot-free. Thank you very much. I think this is what we call it a wrap. And of course, if you still want to drop your contribution, to what extent would you go if your parent borrows money from you and they refuse to return it? Would you report your parent to God? Would you take them to court? Would you take them to the police station? To what extent will you go if your parent borrows money from you and they refuse to return? Thank you very much. And this is the Share Your Thoughts show on Lagoon Radio. Next week is going to be another edition from 3 to 4. And then don't forget to like on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria, on Instagram and Twitter is at Lagoonradio.Ng. You can also download the Lagoon Radio app on Google Play Store and App Store, depending on the device that you use. I remain DJ Shab. And thanks to my producer, Simideli Olabisioke. And of course, Omo Tayo. I refuse to call you Tayo again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
And on this note, I say bye and have a good afternoon.
And nothing can stop me, doesn't matter what I face. I am getting bigger every day, every day.
This is Lagoon Radio.
For His glory, I'm on fire every day. And nothing can stop me, doesn't matter what I face. I am getting